Good afternoon. My name is Michael Stewart. I'm one of the lawyers at the Kazan firm. I'm here to give you a brief update on a case of ours that's going to trial in a couple weeks. The plaintiffs are Brenda LeBeau and her husband Donald LeBeau. This case is noteworthy because it involves take-home asbestos exposure. These are very common cases now, but they're very contentious. I'll give you a brief history of the case, explain who the plaintiffs are, and what we're going to prove at trial. So Brenda LeBeau never worked at a dusty work site that we can tell. Instead, her husband, Donald LeBeau, was an iron worker in the Bay Area. In the late 1960s, he worked on the new construction of a building that we all recognize. It's the Bank of America Tower in San Francisco. The building is 52 floors high. It took several years to build. Donald LeBeau was an iron worker who worked on the job for hundreds of days, off and on, during that period. His job was to handle the metal, the rebar. In the image you see pictured, they are creating a new floor of a building. You lay out the rebar, and then they pour concrete over it for reinforcement and strength. And below Mr. LeBeau, there's other tradesmen doing their work below him. Many times he would work on the same floor as all those other tradesmen. So his job involved metal. It was not a hazardous job because he knew how to handle the metal that he worked with. The problem is these tall buildings back in the 1960s, they were insulated with an asbestos-containing fireproofing product. That was a product that the general contractor arranged for to be sprayed all over the structural steel. The oversprayed material fell all over the floor, all over the workers, and one of the general contractors, named Cahill, hired laborers to sweep up this debris that was dried. They didn't warn anyone of the asbestos in the dust. They didn't take any precautions to control the dust. So Mr. LeBeau and all the other laborers and tradesmen around him were coated in the dust by the end of each workday. Mr. LeBeau, like anyone else, wore his work uniform home. Day after day, he brought his work clothes into the home, into the family car, and Brenda LeBeau did the laundry. She shook out the dusty clothes before putting them in the washing machine with all the other clothes, but over a period of years, that dose of dust added up, and decades later, it contributed to her mesothelioma cancer. This is a common fact pattern now. I'll show you the next image just to reiterate. The next image is a picture of one of Mr. LeBeau's co-workers. He is working on the next level of the construction process where you build the next level of towers. As you can see, they thought their work only involved metal. And of course they saw the dust around them, but just like a baker who handles flour all day or a school teacher who handles dusty chalk erasers all day, they had no reason to think that the dust could be harmful or could cause cancer years later. So the defendant, Cahill, who hired the workers who swept up the dust in an unsafe way, they asked to be dismissed from the case. They said, if you breathe toxic dust that was tracked into your household, you should have no right to file a lawsuit. We disagreed with that. We explained to the court why that's wrong. That's not the law in California. And last Friday, the court agreed with us. The court agreed that the lawsuit could move forward. We have a chance to go to trial now and explain why Cahill should have done better. And if they had done better, Mrs. LeBeau and her outcome would not have been the same. Her cancer risk would have been lower. So that's what's going on with the LeBeau case right now. We're looking forward to this trial. We think it's a simple case, easy story to tell. Thanks.